I've really been lacking on my pineapple power consumption.
There's a reminder for Anthony Fauci.
I don't know where the olive oil is because I'm not in my own kitchen, so I'm gonna go find it.
Okay, so maybe first we will push this stuff out of the way. Just, you know, push the trash to the side.
I'm going to eat this bowl, guys, because
Okay, don't get your fingers in your mouth.
Today we are talking about our favorite Dr. Yum summer recipes.
Hi there, I'm Dr. Yum, and I wanted to tell you about one of my favorite summer recipes, which is watermelon gazpacho. So gazpacho is a cold soup, and this is a really good way to eat soup in the summertime because it's cool and really refreshing. So you're going to start with watermelon, and you're going to cube it up, and you're going to need about 4 cups of the watermelon. And then the flavor comes from a lot of add-ins. And the cool thing about this recipe is you're going to blend about half of those add-ins, and then the other half you're going to chop, and it's going to make your soup a little bit chunky. So here are the add-ins that I've used. We've got some red pepper, some green onion, cucumbers, tomatoes, and then if you like jalapeno, you can use that too. So I have my watermelon, and then I've got all of these add-ins, half of which I'm just gonna blend. So, and then we're gonna use a jalapeno, but we have some little ones with us, and so they don't love the really spicy, so we left a lot of the ribs and seeds out. But you can make it spicier by adding all of that stuff in. Okay, so half of my stuff gets chopped into the bowl, half of it gets blended in here. And I have some basil in here too. That's gonna add some nice flavor. I also forgot, I need some olive oil and red wine vinegar, and that's gonna give it a real savory taste. So let me grab that. Here's my red wine vinegar. We're gonna do 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3. All right. So let's blend this all up. You can add salt and pepper to taste. I'm going to do that last. Make sure if you're making this that you do it a few hours ahead because you're going to want all of this to chill and all the flavors to kind of marry together. So I'm going to add some of my salt and pepper now, and then probably before I serve it, I'll just check it for taste. Okay, so all this is going to go right into this. And so you can see there's kind of a smooth background, and then there's the chunkiness. You can then serve it in a small cup and then add your little microgreens or avocado. Something a little smooth like sour cream works nicely. Make sure there's plenty of salt and pepper. It's like a cup of summer. So good.
For my segment of Dr. Yum's summer favorites, I was first to call Farmer's Market bread salad. I had to beat Dr. Yum to that one because it's actually her recipe. She shared it in a newsletter way back in 2014, I think, and we've used it with camps and classes, and it's actually become one of my favorites to make at home. So this salad is perfect for everything you can get at the farmer market. Right now you can get tomatoes of all colors, peppers are coming in, cucumbers are coming in, any color onion, but red onion is what I have here. And the star of the farmer's market salad is actually bread. It's a bread salad, which is traditionally called a panzanella. And so you can use any kind of bread. I've got a cheese bread that I got in the day old section. So you can use any kind of bread though that you have hanging around. So just so you know, I'm making a half recipe of the farmer market bread salad that's on the website. It makes a ton. Basically all the veggies in this salad are bite size. You want to have a good forkful when you get to your veg. A lot of people are, and myself included, not big fans of a raw onion bite. So if the onion's going to be raw in the salad, this is what I like to do. I just put the onion in a bowl here, and then just fill it with cold water and let the onion hang out for an hour or so in the cold water, then drain off the cold water, and that soak really takes out some of that raw onion bite. So that's what's gonna happen with the onion. Next, I'm gonna show you what's gonna happen with this bread so we can make it some croutons. I'm just gonna cut it into slices and then cut it into cubes. If you've never made your own croutons, it's really easy to do, and it's a really great way to use bread you have hanging around that's gonna go, especially bread like this that doesn't have preservatives, it could spoil more quickly than you can eat it. So just cut it like that and then make crouton chunks about like that, okay? And this is a great thing. You can actually get your bread into these pieces like that and then give it to the kids and let them use their kid-safe knives to make it into crouton size. We do that in our summer camps, and the kids love to cut the bread and nibble the bread as they're cutting it. So, and we like to encourage tasting all along when you're cooking, because that helps people to become familiar with new flavors. We're gonna take the croutons out halfway during their cooking time, move them around the pan, and let's see how they're looking. They smell so good. Okay, so just take your spatula, sort of stir everybody around so they don't get too brown on one side. You'll notice they're starting to get a little, you can hear that crunchy sound when they flip around. Once you move them around, just spread them out again so everybody's touching the pan. I'm gonna put them back in for 15 minutes. During that 15 minutes, we're gonna prep the veg for the salad. So we'll head over and do that. So really you want everything in the salad to be a good bite. The great thing about farmer market bread salad is we talk about at the Yum Kitchen a lot, we talk about making food chains. So food chain is when you kind of join a really favorite food with one you're still practicing and create that chain, and eventually you can break the chain and hopefully you'll eat that less preferred food by itself. So for some people, maybe the food chain might be they're practicing raw bell peppers. Maybe for some people, they're practicing, this is me, practicing the raw cherry tomatoes. Maybe for some people, they're practicing raw onion or they're practicing cucumber. The great thing about this salad is it has those delicious croutons in there, and it has chunks of cheese in there and a really delicious dressing. So then when you get a fork full of salad, maybe you join your favorite things with one you're still practicing and you've created a food chain. So if you have kids cutting with you, remember you have our dog knives. You can find them on the website, and these are great for kids to help you in the kitchen. When you have kids helping you chop, you don't want to give them a rolly piece of cucumber. You want to prep it like so, make it flat, and for this salad, cut in half again, and then you can hand it right to your helpers and teach them to hold their puppy, make a kitty paw, and munch, munch, munch. And so then these are great bite sizes that will go really well with the pepper. I also want to show you a different technique that we talk to the kids about when we're chopping something round, like a grape or a cherry tomato. So for this one, we tell the kids to make a London bridge with their pointer finger and their thumb and hold it on the fruit the long ways, and then their dog comes down the middle and gives it a munch. Then you have two flats here. You can London bridge again and again. So some of you are not going to believe this, but Sarah will believe this. This is the very last of the basil that I had from that bundle of basil that was still going strong after 2.5 weeks in my mason jar. So watch the herb video if you haven't watched that on our YouTube channel. Check that out and see how you can really make these herbs last. So this is the very last of my basil. It's going to go on this beautiful farmer market bread salad. You can see I have all the veggies in here, the cubed cheese. I drained off my onions. I used half of that in here. So this is a half recipe of farmer market bread salad. You can already see how big a bowl how full this is. So if you make the full recipe, remember, you're gonna be taking it for crowds. So I'm making a half recipe for home. The croutons are cooling off a little bit. While they cool off, I wanna show you how to make the dressing. So you could also check out on our website a video called Salad Lab, and you can see Dr. Yum's son teach you how to make a salad dressing. But this is a great science experiment. You can see the olive oil there, the red wine vinegar, and you can talk about viscosity and how separate they are and how they're not friends, and in order to make them friends, they need an emulsifier. So for that, we are using some Dijon mustard, a tablespoon of that, and then we're also going to use a tablespoon of maple syrup. I like to use a mason jar because the mason jar has these lines along the side, so it basically works as a measuring cup and a shaker jar all at once. So salt and pepper, you can adjust this as you need to. And this is a really good salad dressing. So I made the full recipe, even though I'm only doing half that'll go on the panzanella. This can just hang out in the fridge and then I have it for salad. So then just give it a really good shake. The kids love to shake. So by having that mustard and the maple syrup in there, it makes the dressing come together, and it's gonna be ready to go onto our salad. So next, we're gonna go for about half of these croutons. And once again, I can save these croutons in a bag and use them for salads or soups or whatever throughout the week. So some of you who've never had a salad like this might think that it's weird that we're gonna dress these croutons and that it will still be delicious tomorrow for lunch. So we're having it for dinner tonight alongside some rotisserie chicken. But this bread will get really yummy with the dressing in the fridge, and it tastes great left over. So give it a try. Okay, I'm gonna dress, toss everything around. This smells so good. I'm so excited. Haven't made this yet this season. And basil, yummy basil. I'm just gonna throw it all on there. And this is going alongside our dinner tonight. So I hope you guys try it. Bye.
Today, I'm making my favorite summer food. We are going to make this kiwi coconut salad. I am going to be doing this whole video. It's me, Rocco Vizioni. My mom is filming, so you might hear her voice.
Hi, Rocco.
Hi.
So let me show the bowl. You did some advanced work, shopping, some of the, what's in this bowl, buddy?
I did some kiwi and mango in here. We have coconut. We're going to make, I read the method, and we are going to make a mixture with some of the stuff. That goes on here. After we mix this, we are putting the shredded coconut. So I'm juicing this lemon in this very helpful juicing thing. You put your whatever you want to juice right here, usually lemon and lime because that's what you juice, and it just goes down these little dents and into the bowl, and then you can pour it out and it has its little handle.
Why did you pick this recipe as your favorite summer recipe?
Because if you've read in words of Rocco Vizioni, all fruits bow down to the kiwi. For me. And I also love mango, except for the fibers at the end of it. So I like chopped. It's pretty tasty, so it's usually served with chips, but it can also be eaten just plain because it's that tasty.
Right.
It's actually a salsa, but it's actually not spicy at all. There's nothing to make it spicy. Maybe a little sour and a little sweet, a little both makes it good.
So this is a Dr. Yum Project preschool food adventure recipe. So preschoolers make this in class together when they're learning about kiwis and mangoes.
It's really easy.
It's pretty easy. And like you were saying, Rocco, it's a salsa, so you can eat it with a cinnamon chip because it's a sweeter salsa, or we like to have it as a side dish or even as a dessert.
So the recipe called for lime, but we didn't have lime, so we're just using lemon because they're very similar. You can use lime as a substitute for lemon, or lemon for a substitute as lime. I am going to get a strainer so we don't get any seeds.
Right, good idea.
I think it's in here. Come. So we have this drawer full of appliances.
I think the strainer we want is in this drawer.
No, it's in this drawer. All right. I was looking for a big strainer, but Mom wants this one. It's right. She's
That's
right.
good.
She's right. Just put this in. I'm gonna make this mixture now, so it's time to get my salt, just to give a little enhancing flavor.
That's right. So sometimes people are surprised when you put salt in something sweet, but it enhances the flavor as long as you only use a little bit.
And now I'm gonna put 2 teaspoons of honey to make it sweeter in case something's really sour.
Okay.
Now I'm going to get this mango. My mom prepped this. So the method she used is try to get your spoon. Mom uses a spoon. It's better. And she tries to get, and we try to get down there and then just scoop out the bits,
Yeah.
the little cubes.
So I take the mango and I hold it with its pointiest side up, and I drag the knife down as close to the center as I can, where the stone is, and take off basically 2 big chunks of mango with the skin on, and then I score it crosswise in both directions so that you see cubes, but I don't go all the way through the skin. And then you can do what you're doing, which is just take a spoon and scoop out nice cubes.
All right. Flexible go down. Okay, come on. Get that.
That's nice. Your juices are getting in there too. Those will be yummy.
Yep, definitely. You really want the juices. And now my kiwi. Kiwi. My favorite fruit. So first you try to chop the littlest amount of the end. Still trying to get most of the end. Then I'm gonna cut it in half in the middle. And then, which is kind of, it can be tricky, but it can be it's more kid friendly to peel. To get your spoon into the kiwi.
Yeah.
And then slice it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might mess up those.
So you're trying to get, and you're doing a great job, you're trying to get the edge of your spoon between the kiwi peel and the kiwi flesh. And then you just kind of run it around underneath the skin in a circle, and the kiwi flesh pops out.
Voila! Oh no, my kiwi!
And you can actually eat kiwi skin. So if a couple of little pieces are on there, it's okay.
Cut them in half. Just like this. Try to use kitty or puppy paw. Kiwi is very soft. It is very easy to cut. I'm cutting it in bigger cubes because that's how we roll.
That's how we roll.
So I'm just gonna dump that in.
You know what I noticed?
What?
This kiwi is kind of yellow.
Oh! Well, some kiwis are green. Usually they have a bit of sour and mostly sweet. But the yellow ones, we call them golden kiwi. Most kiwis are green. Yes, you're right. But golden kiwi, it's usually I think it's the only type of kiwi that's yellow. It's called the golden kiwi. And it's yellow and it's a tiny bit sweeter than the green ones. I'm just gonna go wash my hands over here.
Okay.
Thanks. Pour a lime juice mixture over fruit. Sprinkle shredded coconut on top. Gently mix salsa. Serve with chips.
Or as a side dish.
Gently mix.
That looks really, really yummy.
Thanks.
Do you want to have a bite?
I do, once it's
Tell
done.
everyone if you think it turned out good.
I'm gonna yum score after.
Oh, okay, perfect. Tell us how it is.
That's a very good yum rating, alright.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See you next time.
So my favorite Dr. Yum summer recipe is pineapple power salad. It's one of our most popular kind of classic Dr. Yum recipes, and when we are doing events or doing classes at our teaching kitchen, we make pineapple power salad a lot because everyone loves it, and it's especially great for summer because it's so bright and fresh and juicy. It's perfect for warm weather. So we've got some cucumber in there, pineapple, and then we also have some really nice fresh herbs, mint and cilantro, and some lime. So it's really, really nice. But it's also easy to make, which is another reason I love it. So we're just gonna start off by cutting everything up. I've got my cucumber here. And we're just gonna break all of these pieces down into bite-sized pieces. So I've got all my cucumber cut up now. I'm just gonna transfer this over to this bowl. And we'll get this in here. And you can see I've got all the pieces cut up to be, you know, about the same size, this nice little bite-sized piece. And that is one thing to keep in mind when you're making a salad like this, because people are going to be eating this with a fork or a spoon, so you want it to be kind of consistent throughout, so it's easy for people to eat it. All right, so we've got pineapple or cucumber done. Now we're going to move on to pineapple. Fresh pineapple might feel a little intimidating if you don't really know how to cut it up, but we do have a great video on how to do it. So Chef Joy Crump from the restaurant Foodie, she made a great series of videos for us on how to chop different produce items, and one of those is pineapple. So you'll find that video linked and you can go check it out and see how to do that. It's really not hard, and fresh pineapple the flavor is always amazing. So it's worth a watch, and then you'll know how to cut up a pineapple. So I'm gonna break this down myself. We're gonna try to get this top off first. Let's see if we can go. There we go. All right, we'll just put that over here, and I'll start getting to work on this and breaking it down into pieces that are about the same size as those chunks of cucumber. Okay, pineapple is chopped now, and when you cut the pineapple, you do get all of these, you know, pieces of rind and stuff that you can see piling up on my cutting board. Sometimes, you know, you might have someone in your family who would like to kind of gnaw on those and get the little pieces of pineapple out that are stuck to the rind, but whenever you're done with them, you can put them in your compost. They might take a little while to break down because it is so kind of like hard and tough. So one thing you can do is run your knife through them a little bit before you put them in your compost, and then that will help them to break down a little bit faster, so you don't kind of have these big chunks of pineapple rind sitting in your compost. And the same for the tops. The tops can take a long time to break down, so something I like to do and something we do at the Dr. Yum kitchen is just run a knife through those really quick to get smaller pieces, and then they can break down in the compost a little bit faster. Okay, so we've got all the pineapple in there. I'm going to give my hands a quick rinse because they're covered in sticky pineapple juice. So next up we have our fresh herbs, mint and cilantro. And these are really easy to cut with the cilantro. You can do the stems, they're soft and tender. Doesn't matter, you can just cut right through them. So I'm just gonna run my knife through this really quickly. And you know, you might think it's a little weird to have cilantro in this. A lot of times people are like, what, cilantro? But it's really great. It adds a really great, I don't know, a little extra zip. It pairs well with all the other flavors. Of course, if you are in the camp of people where cilantro tastes like soap, you could leave it out, that would be fine, but I would encourage you to try it because I think it goes really nicely with everything else in here, even if you are a little hesitant and are thinking like, I don't know if that's gonna work. So I'm gonna put the cilantro in, and then we also have fresh mint. So with the mint, I'm gonna strip the leaves here off the stem. The stems for mint are a little bit tougher, so you don't really wanna, you know, eat those because they're just kind of too hard to deal with. But a good tip for something like mint or like basil where you have these kind of larger leaves is you can stack the leaves up on top of each other and make like a little roll-up situation, and then you can cut them into really nice ribbons really quickly. All right, so I've made like a little stack of leaves, and I've got the larger leaves on the bottom, so then I'm just gonna give it a little roll and then you just run your knife across. Now next up is the lime. So I'm actually gonna rotate some of my stuff around here. Let's scoop this over this way and bring the bowl over, because what we're gonna do is we are going to zest the limes and then we're also gonna juice them. And that's a really great way to get the most flavor out of your citrus fruits. So, you know, when you use the zest, it's all tons of flavor in here that you can get out and get into your food. One tip is to make sure you rinse your citrus, especially if you're gonna be zesting, because you know that peel is going into your food. And you're gonna want a zester of some sort. I have a, you know, microplane grater here. And you will find this linked in our Amazon store, so you can go to the Dr. Yum store and find this. We also have a video where we go over some of our favorite kitchen tools. This is one of the items that's in that video, along with a bunch of other great kitchen tools. So that video will be linked for you too, so you can go and see all of that. But I'm just gonna give these guys a zest. And the big thing with zesting is you want to make sure that you are just getting that very first layer of peel. You don't want to get down into the white pithy stuff, because then that starts to get really bitter. And then we're also going to juice our limes. So for getting the most juice out of your citrus, you can kind of roll them like this, like push them down on your cutting board. And this kind of helps break up the inside a little bit and get those juices ready to go, so you can get a little bit more out. Give these a little roll. And if you have a citrus juicer, that's great. The good thing about limes is they usually don't really have seeds, so you don't have to worry as much about this. But juicing is a great job if you have young kids helping you in the kitchen, or maybe someone who's just a little bit less experienced cook who's helping you out. Juicing is a great job that anyone can do. And if you have a citrus juicer, that is going to be even better for young kids in particular. But I'm just going to use my hands, because that's what we're working with. And you know, on that note, I really like this recipe because it is really one that kids can help with a lot. So if you do have kids around that you're cooking with, or again, just less experienced cooks in your home, this is one that everyone can get involved with, because there's so many jobs that people can do that are relatively simple. So whether it's juicing the citrus, or you know, chopping the herbs. If you have a young kid, they can also tear the fresh herbs with just their fingers, so that's a way they can be involved. And even, you know, the chopping is pretty simple too. So especially if you get the puppy knives that we recommend, those are also linked in our store. But those are a great tool to get kids in the kitchen. They can cut up the pineapple, they can help cut up the cucumber, as long as you kind of get it all prepped for them in pieces that they can work with, you know, that are small enough they can work with. You wouldn't want to give a little kid the whole pineapple to break down, but you can give them little planks and they can get going on it, and everyone can kind of work together to make the recipe. So we're going to mix this together. And again, another great job if you have kids cooking with you is to do the mixing. Everyone loves to stir, so it's a great thing that they can do. And once, you know, things look pretty well incorporated, you see the herbs kind of floating all through there, got lime juice on everything, I think we're ready. Let's do a little taste. Oh, another side note is, this isn't in the official recipe, but some people do like to add a little sprinkle of salt to their pineapple power salad. So that's something to keep in mind if you think that's something that you or your family would enjoy. That is also an option, a way you can kind of customize it. So good. You know, this is my first time having pineapple power this summer. Normally, I would be having it a lot right now, because like I said, we usually take it to a lot of events, but events aren't really a thing right now, so I haven't been hitting my pineapple power quota of what I normally get by this time in the year. So I'm really excited to have this. I hope that you will make it, and if you do make pineapple power or any of the other recipes in this video or on the Dr. Yum website, definitely take a picture, post it on Instagram, tag us so we can see it, because we would love to see your creations at home.